Do you remember the last time you were at a funeral? Do you remember who it was and how you felt? You might have felt an intense sadness because someone of great importance has left you. I know I felt that way when I lost my grandmother. You might have felt a loss in your heart, an emptiness, because a person has left a void that no one else can fill. I felt the same way when I lost my baseball coach. Or you might have felt anger because I don't understand why this person had to leave so early. I felt that way when we lost our family friend and politician Ronald Fung. He gave away all of his earnings after 50, the age of 50, for charitable causes, but he died at 55. It's this mix of negative emotions that physically and mentally drains you. Then why do we put ourselves through this? A couple of months ago, I went to the funeral of my distant uncle. Now, usually when you go to a funeral, you're so mentally engaged that you can't think of anything else besides the person who's passed away. But this time, because I was kind of distant from him, I took a step back, and I was able to analyze the situation and think, why were we actually there? There are three reasons. First one, we're there because we want to say our final goodbyes and pay our respect. And while we're at the funeral, we often talk about why we remember this person, what he did or what kind of person he was that made him so memorable. And finally, we're there to grieve with other family and friends who are in the same place. And I thought, it seems a bit sad, even though I didn't really know this person. After the whole funeral, I realized, wow, there are children who have lost their fathers. There are elderly people who no longer have the service of this community worker. And there are other church members who have lost a brother with a big smile and an even bigger heart. And I thought, there has to be a better way to pay our final respect, to say goodbye, to remember these people for what they were and what they did. Do you want to see your friends, your family, in shambles because you passed away? Do you want to see your partner, your spouse, lying on the ground next to your coffin, crying, how am I going to live without you? And my answer to that is an emphatic no. And that is why I've decided I will plan my own funeral. There will be no dress code. Actually, I take that back. There will be a dress code. You can't wear any all black. You can't wear all white or black and white because that looks like a funeral. I don't want my funeral to look like a funeral. We will have nice, relaxing jazz music playing before we start the funeral, just so people can get comfortable, talk amongst themselves and have a good time. And then during this funeral, we'll hand out handmade cookies and tea so that no one will go hungry or thirsty. Throughout this whole time, we'll be showing images of happy moments that I share with, might be people within the crowd or it might be other people that I know. Why do I have to do all this? It's because I want my funeral to be a celebration of the things that I stand for and the person that I am. I don't want the last thing that I leave behind to be a piece of candy, a tissue, and a $1 coin. I want people to remember me for what I am, my spirit. And this drives me to think, well, what exactly is the spirit of Jeffrey? What does Jeffrey stand for? I recall this piece of advice someone told me. You should write your own eulogy, which is what people say at your funeral about you. So it took a couple of days and I wrote something up. Let me share that with you now. So it reads, Jeffrey was a loving spouse and a caring father who put his family first. Even though he owns his own business, he finds the time to take his kids to the doctor when they're sick, buy his wife a present on a business trip, and visit the in-laws and parents every week, if not every month, if not every week. In his professional life, Jeffrey was a passionate entrepreneur, generous boss, and he always brought life-changing products to the masses. And even though his contributions are countless, the only thing that he would want you to remember was how he put a smile on your face, whether it be through a joke he told, the way he cared for you when your grandmother passed away, or how he helped you write that essay that got you into MBA or that $200,000 scholarship. Although he's no longer with us here today, his spirit lives on in us. And we collectively carry that torch to make the world a better place. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't started planning your funeral yet, I suggest you get started right away. Because the earlier you start, your chances are succeeding. Like Leo over there, he's only in year 2, right? So he's got plenty of time to think about that. Now, I've already written my script. I just need to walk the talk right now. So finally, if you ever get a chance to attend my funeral, I want you to remember what I said today and think back, did Jeffrey get to where he wanted to go? And then think about how far you've come along in your life. Are you where you want to be? Oh, there's one final thing. If you do attend my funeral, remember to smile, because that's the way I planned my funeral. Thank you.
Definitely, I will smile. Thank you, Jeff. Very smooth, natural. Yeah, getting better and better, Jeff. Actually, I recommend all of you guys